G'day team, Coach Ray. I'm up here in the top corner, and today I've got another coach that I'm interviewing here with Jaime. She is, I've known Jaime for a while actually. We've paced the 4 hour 30 group at Rotorua Marathon a few times together. It's been a couple of years since I've made an appearance up at the Rotorua Marathon, so I need to get my A back into G and get back up there and join you again, Jaime. You've been running for a long time. You spend a little bit more of a focus on the ultras, particularly with the coaching side of your work. So we're going to be talking a bit about that today. Jaime, over to you. I'll let you expand on your introduction and tell us some of the cool and amazing experiences you've had running.
Cool. Hi, Jaime. So I've been running for about 15 years. Took a few breaks in there just to have babies. Started off running just for weight loss, really. And that basically started, lamppost to lamppost sort of thing for about a year. And that just sort of developed on from lamppost to lamppost to my first half marathon. And then I stuck to half marathons for quite some time, probably about 3 years or so. And then I moved on to my first marathon. And once again, stuck with marathons for a while. And then once I had my boys, it was about 2 years after I had my boys, I took on my first ultra, which was the Hutt River 60-kilometer ultra. Did the run and nearly died, just because I had come back from Cancun. My brother was getting married, was over there, got some sort of a tummy bug over there, and came back to New Zealand 3 days later, ran the Hutt River. So I had a really horrible experience with my first ultra.
Not a good way to start.
But I vowed I had to go back to rectify it. I had to go back to do it some justice. So then again, I signed up for the next year, and I just absolutely loved it. Absolutely smashed it. Feeling so much better. I think I cut about 2 hours off of my previous time. And then from there, it was just sort of a general sort of increase of distances and different events and crazy events. And then when I turned 40, it was about 10 years ago, I was watching a documentary with my husband when we were living in Australia about this crazy race called Marathon des Sables in Morocco. So running 250 kilometers across the desert. And I said to my husband, one day I need to do this event. And I don't know what it was about the event, but just knew I needed to do it. So when I was coming up to my 40th birthday, I said to my husband, I need to do this event. So he basically just said, sign up and we'll make it happen. So 2 years ago now, I went over to Morocco and took part in the Marathon des Sables 2017. And then that's when sort of the seed was planted for more sort of multi-day running. So since then, I went over to Fiji about 2 months ago now, and I took part in the Lost Island Ultra, which was basically running the length of Viti Levu, which is the main island in Fiji. And then I've signed up to do Alps to Ocean, which is a 330-kilometer multi-day run in bottom of the South Island. So start the base map and runs out to Oamaru. So that's in February. So
the good thing about that one is it's pretty much downhill, but I don't want to say it's all downhill.
That's what everybody says. But no. A lot of flat running. So I actually coached 4 people for it last year. And it was about 80% of it was quite flat running. There's a few good climbs in there, especially a long day. They throw in quite a good climb towards the end. So everybody cursed it. So that's kind of where my running has taken me. Look, I've got a few other crazy events lined up afterwards. And so it's just the thing with multi-day running that I really enjoy is that it just takes you to places and you get to see some pretty cool places that you normally wouldn't see, like, running through the highlands in Fiji and running through villages. And it was just really special. So
away from the tourist areas. What would you say is the highlight of your running experiences so far?
So definitely Marathon des Sables. So I can't even explain the greatness of it. You've got 1,300 runners. You've got 700 medics and volunteers helping out. you've got camels, you've got helicopters. It was the greatness of it, the mass of this, the way that the logistics of this whole event was run, and it all ran so smoothly, and you kind of go, wow. But I mean, it's been running for 34 years now, so I did it at the 33rd edition. And it was just, you you'd think you'd be out in the middle of the Sahara by yourself, and you'd be out there, and you didn't think anybody was there, and all of a sudden you climb this massive sand dune, and there's, a camera there, or there's medics there, or so there's always somebody sort of around you, but you didn't always feel it, which was really nice.
You got the isolation that you want from these types of events, but you've also got the support right there if it's needed.
Yeah,
that's probably pretty important peace of mind for the athletes as well as the organisers.
And even coming back from Fiji, Fiji was, there was 50 competitors, and there was 5 sort of volunteers sort of helping it. So it was just on such I kind of saw both sides of the scale. So Fiji was amazing. I would say Fiji was harder than the Sahara. So I definitely had to dig deeper for Fiji just due to the humidity. But the greatness of Morocco was just amazing.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
I enjoyed the photos you put up on social media, It's
it was pretty.
Inspiring.
I'd love to go back one day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool experience. Yeah. Anybody, it was almost like a pilgrimage as well too. So anybody who considers themselves a runner, they go, oh, I don't know if I'd want to do it, but it's just it does change you. It does change you as a person. Coming back from an event like that, I definitely had a lot more confidence in myself and a lot more confidence in life. It's really nice. So, yeah.
Awesome. So as a coach, what are some of the successes you've had with athletes previously? You mentioned a couple that had done the Alps to Ocean.
Yeah. So for me, recently the biggest successes were my Alps to Ocean people that I coached through. The thing with multi-day coaching is it's not just a matter of sort of giving them a program of, all right, I need you to do back-to-backs, or I need you to do some walking sessions, or I need you to do some pack sessions, because multi-day running as well, too, you have to go, well, is it a supported run, or is it unsupported, self-supported? So, again, you kind of have to look at a few different angles. So it's not just a matter of sort of giving them a program and going, all right, I need you to sort of get these sorts of kilometers under your legs, this, that, and the other. It's sort of, you have to get a recovery plan in there. You need to have a nutrition plan. You need to figure out, does the person have any food allergies? One client that I'm coaching at the moment, she's not able to have certain types of garlics and onions and stuff like that. So any of that freeze-dried food, she can't eat it or she'll get sick. So we have to sort of work around sort of dietary requirements as well too. So there's just, you go into kit, your gear, right? So if you're carrying everything, obviously you want to have the most, the lightest gear up there. You talk about lightweight gear, well, all of a sudden dollars and cents. It's just amazing how much more lightweight gear is. But, you questions. I've got a lady over in Australia that I'm coaching for it. And she goes, when she came to me, she said, I want to do this event. And I asked her, I said, will you want to do more of these multi-day runs? And she said, probably. And I said, okay, well, if you're thinking that it might become something that you're going to do every year, if you're going to buy the gear, buy the lightweight stuff now, or even just buy one piece of kit that's lightweight now. Yeah. So that the next time. So for me, when I went over to Morocco, I ended up buying a sleeping bag, and a sleeping bag was about $800, but it only weighs 280 grams. So it's, it was something that I bought that I knew that I was going to be using for Fiji. I used it. I'll be using it for Alps to Ocean as well too. Yep. So it's, it's worth getting it if you're going to use it again.
Definitely.
Lightweight. So definitely the highlight was the my people who went through, my athletes who went through Alps to Ocean. 2 of them did exceptionally well. So one of them, second place female overall. Awesome. So she did really well. And then one of my males, he came 7th overall. And he went as self-supported. So he was carrying everything on his back.
Yeah.
So,
and you're doing self-supported as well, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. If I went supported, I'd be getting a few looks from people. Yeah. So you always tick the first box, and the first box was self-supported. So yeah. So those and it was just lovely seeing them get through it and seeing them, because I mean, multi-day running as well too. It's not something you sort of, the first one you want to kind of go in with 3 or 4 months training. You want to put a good decent amount of time into conditioning your legs.
Yeah.
So these athletes have put in almost a year worth of training, and to see that pay off and to see them finish it strong and recovered within a couple of weeks, and thinking about what they're going to be doing next. To me, that was quite a success. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
With your training philosophy, or what is your training philosophy, and how do you develop the programs for your athletes, particularly those ones doing the multi-day?
Yeah. So when I look at training, I always believe there's three S's with all my coaching that I do. There's the stamina, which all athletes, all ultra runners, right? They want this stamina. They want their endurance. But you also need your strength, and you need your suppleness, right? So strength comes with strength training, heavy weights, and suppleness comes with things like yoga, massage, rolling, those sorts of sort of making the muscles supple. So my training philosophy is, I say to everybody all the time, I'm not selling you a magic bean, I'm not selling you a magic pill, but what I'm giving you is consistency.
Yeah. That is really the secret, isn't consistency?
It's absolutely, with everything in life. I think it's just that consistency. People go, okay, well, taking nutrients, or looking after myself, or drinking water. You do it once or twice. You just need to sort of have that consistency throughout. So that's pretty much my training philosophy, is having consistency, but making sure it's safe. So with all programs for my ultra runners and for my multi-day runners, I put them onto a training cycle. The training cycle basically consists of a medium week, hard week, and then an easy full recovery week. So every third week they're hit with a recovery week.
Brilliant.
And then just building it up throughout the course of the year. And the lovely thing with one-on-one coaching as well too is that if something comes up and you can't get this week in, then we work around it. And there's always a way to sort of figure out a way to get that consistency in their life, and it just pays off. So
brilliant. Do you have any key sessions at certain stages of build-up that you like to use with your athletes?
Yep. So one key session that I use with both my ultra runners and multi-day runners is super compensation weeks. So the way that a super compensation works, so it works with strength training as well too. Is so say you have a mileage, a certain mileage that you're hitting. So say you build it up. Let's say you've got so let's say one week you got 60 miles. Next medium week 60 miles. Hard week 80 miles, and then recovery. And then so that's kind of a consistency that you have, and then you may spike it a bit, 65 and then 85. You might spike it a little bit. Super compensation, you go into it after recovery week, so you have a full recovery week, and then you basically go above and beyond. So let's say you bring your mileage up to 100 miles for the week.
Yeah.
And then you drop it back down, and you give them 2 weeks of recovery. So during sort of a 3-month training cycle, depending on sort of where they are, you can give them a super compensation, as long as it's done with a recovery week before and 2 weeks recovery afterwards. I find it works really well, really well. Once again, just condition everything. So I do use
athletes myself as well. I don't use the term super compensation around them, but yeah, same principle. Recover, big load of training, and then recover.
2 weeks recovery, absolutely. Yep. And again, it's just, I find that what it does is that, and if you're doing high mileage like that, and people kind of question high mileage, as long as you're doing it at an easy pace, at a comfortable pace, and that's another philosophy I have. Training days, easy days are kept easy, hard days are kept hard, and don't don't try to muck too much in the middle. Easy is you're talking, you're conversational, you can hold a conversation. And then hard days is you're pushing it.
That's a reoccurring theme with these interviews. Is the biggest problem people have is exactly that. They don't do their easy sessions easy enough, and then they don't have they're not fully recovered, so they're not able to do their hard sessions hard enough.
Exactly.
Just
so
compromises
I use it with myself as well too. I know that if I've pushed and done a solid tempo session, or my legs hurt, and I'm gonna have to have a bit of recovery time, which is fine as long as it's put into the program, into my own program, to follow that that guideline. And then easy, people go, well, what's like easier or moderate as well too? So they say, well, what's a moderate run? I said, well, if you can hold a conversation with somebody, then that's a moderate run. If you can't hold a conversation, then that's too hard. You're pushing too hard, so pull it back a bit. So some of my athletes I work with paces just because I've been training them for 3 years, and you kind of know where they're at.
Yep.
So, but most of the time I'll add in just keep this day easy, conversational plays, easy paced.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
You touched on strength training a couple of times there. How do you incorporate that into the overall training program?
So I've got strength. I mean, to me, there's three components of strength. You got your legs, your arms, and your back, right? So you got the three areas. Do compound exercises, lunges, squats, work on core. So I have sort of strength sessions that I've made up, and sometimes I'll change them around just to get a little bit crazy.
And I'll actually life, isn't it?
I'll put it into their program. So I'll add in strength training sessions need to be done on Tuesday, Thursday, whatever day it is. Focusing on glutes or focusing on calves or whatever it's going to be for the week, and then just try to have a good mix. The other thing I add into the programs is yoga sessions. Yoga is not only great for flexibility, but it's awesome for strength. It's just, there's a lot of poses that you can do, like standing poses in particular. You do a standing pose and you get a complete workout in your one leg. Switch to the other leg and you get a complete workout because you're just activating muscles that you don't normally activate if you're standing on both your feet. So barefoot, doing some of these standing poses is amazing strength work for your legs. Especially things when it comes to trail runners and ankles and strengthening ankles and calves and stuff like that. Yoga, there's some yoga poses that are amazing for it. So I'll normally incorporate 2 yoga sessions per week for all my clients.
Awesome. That's often overlooked. Is the importance of flexibility, and I don't use yoga with all my clients, but some of the athletes I definitely do.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing with when it comes to the easy recovery weeks is I normally ask that if you can to go for some sort of a massage or a flush on the recovery weeks. Coming back into the training cycle on the medium week just means that your muscles are sort of more supple, and we can sort of add a little bit more. I can stress their training just a little bit more with supple legs. So yeah, that's another thing that I highly recommend. Awesome.
What's your personal favorite running session?
I've got a. So like I mentioned before, when I went to Fiji, I discovered in myself that I love trails. I love being out on trails, but my sweet spot in my own personal running is flats. So I do enjoy a really lovely long flat section. I've got a circuit that I do. It's a 50-kilometer loop around Auckland City.
Yep.
And there's nothing beats getting up on a Saturday morning and knowing you get to go out into your 50-kilometer loop, taking it it's an easy run, easy pace run. So I'm not pushing anything, but it's just so magical being out there and doing things. It's very, very rewarding. It's hard, but it's very rewarding when it's done. And I sort of judge my own training to if I'm ready for a race, how easy the 50-kilometer loop is.
Yeah.
So it was by far probably my favorite training session that I get excited when I know I get to do it.
Brilliant. What would you consider your number one training tip for people?
Keep your easy days easy and your hard days hard.
Yeah, and that lines up
Yeah.
with what we're talking about before with the biggest mistakes. So
keep the easy days easy. And people go out and they go, I'm going to try to beat my last run. I went, did a 10K run. I'm going to try to be faster this time. And you go, well, no, because you can't be faster every time.
You can, but you'll burn out pretty damn quick.
You'll burn out, man, and it's not going to be pretty. The other one is to hydrate. Don't underestimate the importance of hydration. I send out reminders to my clients normally on Friday. Come on, guys, time to hydrate. Just making sure your muscles have enough fluids in them. If your muscle body is full, they just work better than if you're hydrated. So, yeah.
Awesome. 2 tips for the price of one there. That's good.
There you go.
Whereabouts do you get most of your clients from?
At the moment, it's all word of mouth, which is really nice. It's pretty much just word of mouth at the moment. Because of the success of how well everybody did at Alps to Ocean, there was some blogs and stuff written up on the Facebook page and a couple of the other different Facebook pages. And then there's been some discussion about coaches' sort of social media.
Yeah.
And through that, I've been getting quite a few clients, so that's quite nice. And then, I've held on to most. I've got clients that I've had, like I said, for about 3 years now. So they sort of do an event, and the other thing I really enjoy about coaching, especially some of the clients that I've had for such a long period of time, is just how they see in themselves now their abilities to do things like 100-kilometer events or a miler or a multi-day, or they come to you and they say, oh, I'd like to do a marathon, and then they finish the marathon, and I say, what is there anything next, or what would you like to do next? And they said, oh, I've been thinking about doing an ultra. And I said, great, which one are we going to do? And they're like, why do you have so much confidence in us? And I was like, because I know you can do it. And they're like, oh, I don't think I can do it. And I said, of course you can do it. So you just have to figure out what you want to do, enroll in it, or enter it, and then just train for it.
Those are the big 2 things, isn't it? Faster or longer?
Yeah, that is exactly it. That is exactly it. Which one do you go, faster or longer? And most of my clients they say, want to go longer.
Pretty much same with mine. I had an example of a client. It must have been back in about 2006. I first started training here, I think. She just wanted to do the Special K Women's Triathlon, and saw a little bit of a gleam in her eye, and she's constantly gone further and further and further. Done Ironman a few times now, all around the world, and is now doing.
It's rewarding, isn't it? It's really rewarding seeing it. One of a funny story is one of my clients. She signed up for a marathon, did the marathon, signed up for a 50-kilometer event, did that. And we were talking on the phone one day, and she said, "Oh, I've been thinking about 100 kilometers." And I said, for your first 100-kilometer event, you should do blah, 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 blah. And she said, no, hold the line. I said, what? She goes, first 100 kilometers. I said, yeah. She goes, why do you think there's going to be another one? I said, because I know. So sure enough, she's got 2 lined up this year, so 200-kilometer events.
Awesome.
So that's it. I really enjoy that side of pushing people beyond what they're comfortable doing. And I think with myself as well too, I just love to push to see. People are like, oh, what's next? And like, let's just go see if we can go a little bit further.
There's no point living if you can't challenge yourself and those around you.
Yeah, and make goals that scare you. I believe that you just make, like, before I went to the desert, I questioned, oh my God, am I going to be able to make it? What's it going to be? Is it going to hurt? And I went there and I did really well. I was 18th female overall. So, I was really pleased with how I went over there. Fiji was the same. My God, how am I going to do in Fiji? I was third female over there. So, so just making the goals that scare you a little bit and train, and like it comes back to train and be consistent with your training.
Yeah.
Like people too often kind of go, all right, I want to do a 100-kilometer event. I'm going to sign up for it, and then they forget that sort of key thing, and that's to train.
Committing that entry is important, but training needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And consistently doing it safe as well. So, safety is number one.
Brilliant. Anyway, what's the best way for potential athletes to get in touch with you about coaching? And do you have room at the moment to take more on board?
I'm actually at a limit right now. There are a few events coming up, so I might have a few open spaces, but just contact me. So it's Jaime, JAIME @runningnz.co.nz. Or just find me on Facebook, Jaime, JAIME Stevenson, and drop me a Facebook Messenger.
Awesome. I'll put links in the description down below, both your email address and link through to your Facebook as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and even if anybody needs to contact just to talk about different multi-day events or any sort of, I've coached for most ultra runs here in New Zealand, a few over in Australia. I'm very, informed with information on kit and gear. My whole life for the last 3 years has been about gear. It's a lightweight gear. So
I think it was last night you were just posting about it. Lightweight gear as well, weren't you?
So excited, man! I just got my new bag. It's a 25-liter Radlight bag. It weighs like 300 grams. So when I went to the Sahara, my mandatory gear was I had 3.2 kilos of mandatory gear on my back.
Yep.
Plus food on top of that. So my pack was around 8 kilos. And now I got my mandatory gear down, and I know it sounds really pathetic, but I got my mandatory gear down to 2 kilos. So I've cut almost a kilo and a half off of weight by some of the new gear that I bought. So
someone watching this that just does 10Ks or half marathons isn't going to comprehend how significant that is. It's only when you start putting one on your back and doing an event.
Before Marathon Disables, people were like breaking the end off of their toothbrush to lose 20 grams. They were cutting their survival blankets in half to lose a couple of grams. It's an insane world of calories and grams. Yeah. It's a world of calories and grams. So it's my bag's going to be just probably under 7 kilos for Alps to Ocean, and I think it's a requirement to be 7 kilos, so it'll be bang on 7 kilos.
Nice.
That's all and everything. So very exciting. So yeah, if anybody has any questions about any sort of kit or gear or anything, feel free to drop me a line.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today, Jaime. It's good to catch up and good to talk training and racing and equipment.
Yes.
We might have to do this again in the future some stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ray.
No worries. Catch you later.